say you have a Friday where you can't control yourself and you just crash out, boom, you have that big loss, and now you got to build that back up. I'm gonna show you guys what showed me how to get rid of these big chunks, these big losses out of this curve. All right, what is going on, y'all? I know it's been a long time since I made a video on my channel. I still been trading and everything. And the thing is with traders is you don't really need social media to thrive in the space. So that's why I haven't really, been focused on content creation. But I do want to share with you guys something that really changed my psychology within my trading within the last, 2 weeks or so. And it's not from being or just experience with trading. It's actually from reading. All right. Um, Now I'm just gonna make sure the audio is good for this video. Make sure everything's cool because it's been a minute. But yeah, I've been reading this book, Atomic Habits, and I came across a kind of analogy that really stuck with me in my trading. It kind of improved it and helped me get rid of those big losses. That was just wasting my time with my live accounts, my funded accounts, and those big losses, you can come back from them, but in reality, it's just wasting time, man. It's not good for the overall in the long run, especially if you want to be a full-time trader. And I believe this really helped me cut or get rid of those big losses um, in a way. So the analogy was, let's say you have a graph. Let me use my brush here. Let's say you have a graph, okay, of your monthly P&L, right? You want it to look like that, right? But if we're being realistic, it's not gonna look like that when you have big losses and you have those days where you just crash out. So you could be like this, and then let's say you have a Friday where you can't control yourself and you just crash out, boom, you have that big loss, and now you gotta build that back up. I'm gonna show you guys what showed me how to get rid of these big chunks, these big losses out of this curve. Because in a good P&L, whether it's monthly, weekly, yearly, you do want those small, corrections, but you want it to be healthy. You don't want those boom, what I'm saying, big drops. Like that's not healthy. So let me get rid of these. Okay. So the analogy was, let's think of a water hose, right? Um, like this is a normal hose, water hose, um, whatever, right? And then the water comes out over here, right? This is a normal hose. There's no kinks in it right now, and the water is just gonna, what I'm saying? It's just gonna flow out, right? Cool. All right, let's not do let's not do water droplets. Let's just say it's just water. It's gonna flow out, right? Um, cool. It's just gonna flow, right? And that's how you want your trading to be. You want the profits to just flow, you know, just like how water flows. But let's compare, let me see. So let's compare the kink, like let's say how I kink a water hose and the water stops coming out or it slows it down drastically. Let's compare that kink to a big losing day in trading, right? So let me see if I can draw this. You have the hose and then you have a big kink right here, right? So this is the kink in the hose, right? My drawing skills is not the best here. The water's with that kink, the water's not gonna flow that easy, right? And this is similar to, what I'm saying, um, the chart, your P&L chart. So with that big loss, your P&L is not gonna flow like you want it to with those big losses, right? So then you kind of gotta you know what I'm saying, come back up with the P&L and make it back. But without that big losing day or that kink, you know what I'm saying, the water is just gonna flow. Even if it's, you know, a small kink, so kind of like a small bend in the hose, the water is still gonna flow, you know what I'm saying, out of that hose way more than having that big kink in there that's stopping the water to come out. So I told myself I think of the water as like the profits from trading. You know, with that big kink in the hose, the water is not gonna come out, or even if water does come out, it's not gonna be much. You're just gonna be fighting drawdown and stuff like that. But if you allow the small losses, it allows the water to flow, essentially the profits to come. So I'm gonna actually get detailed here and personal, and I'm gonna show you guys um my first funded account with Topstep, and I'm gonna be 100% transparent. Now normally if you look at all my videos, I'm a live trader. I do have a main live account, but I decided to give Topstep a try, and I've already got a first payout for $750. And I'm currently building my account up right now. I want to get it to maybe 6,000 or 8,000 and take another 3K payout because I want to put some more in my live account. But before I read this analogy, I'm going to show you guys this is what my trading P&L looked like, okay? And it's just not good, you know what I'm saying? Um, but regardless of the number of trades, um, you can see where I had my big losing days. And with the 100K account, the max loss per day or daily loss limit is 2,000. As you can see right here on Tuesday the 16th, I lost 1,500. Okay, and on this day, I believe my account was at 3K and it got down to like 1,500. So before I felt like I could possibly lose the account, I had like, you know, a $1,500 balance left. I withdrew $800 for $800 payout just to recoup my investment at least, you know, just worst case scenario. But that didn't stop me, you know what I'm saying? I still told myself like, okay, I can make this shit back as long as I get rid of those big losses. And after this, you can see, you know, I held in there and I got rid of those big losses. You know, I had a break even day this week, Tuesday, had a break even day this week, Thursday, and then yesterday, Friday, I had $1,000 day. So just in this one week, I made that loss back, but you don't want to be having to make those losses back because it's just going to waste time. So, you know, psychology wise, you know, when you have these big losing days, you're like, oh, like, man, I could have been up, you know, an extra 1,000 if I didn't have this big losing day. But you can't always think like that because that's not reality. You just have to find a way to get rid of those big losing days. Um, so I don't know if this is gonna help you guys with your challenges, your combines, or maybe even your live accounts. You know, I've had you know, 5K in my live account, and I've had days where I lose 1,000 or 800. You know, essentially a fifth of my account, or you know, a quarter of my account lost in one day, and like it's just not good, bro. Um, but over time, you know, learning to get rid of these big losing days and just, you know, learning the overall picture, you know, allowing your P&L to enter flow state is what I call it. Um, you're not gonna see like crazy, crazy profits as you think, you know what I'm saying, because of those losses. But being able to take those small losses, you will have consistent profits weekly. You know what I'm saying? Again, right here, if you look on this Friday, um, I lost 650. You know, and this week, it wasn't a bad week, but this one big losing day, I lost essentially all my profit for the week. You know, um, but now if you look at this week, you know, consistent profits, and then the small I adjusted. You can see where I adjusted. I said, okay, Fridays, like it's the last day of the week. I don't want to do too much. Let me just, keep it minimal, Um, and I had a good week that week. And you know, a lot of this just comes with adjustments and understanding your psychology. If you can't take a loss, you're really not gonna have much success in the future if you can't take the loss. It's just how trading is. You have to take the losses. Even the big traders, you know what I'm saying, they take losses, you know. But I just wanted to show you guys this. Right now, I'm currently up 3,800 on the account. I've already took in $800 withdrawal, and I'm looking to build it up kind of a buffer so I can take a bigger withdrawal next. Um, and just ultimately allow more money to flow in to put into my live account, because that's what you guys should be doing with these topstep accounts. Um, but other than that, I mean, I haven't had an issue with topstep. Uh, the way I got my Express account is I bought 300K accounts for $100, and I risked $500 per trade. This particular account, I I'm gonna just say I got lucky. I had back-to-back one to threes 3 days in a row, and I passed one of the three accounts that I bought. So I just been rocking with this one account. I only have this one account, um, and I have my live account. So I think the beauty in having one of these accounts and also a live account on the side. And by the way, I use Tradovate as a broker. If you guys are looking for a live account broker, um, I think the beauty is I can trade this account, a little bit more aggressive than my live account. And then my live account, I only trade maybe a few days out of the week, because that's your real capital, and you really don't want to, play around with that. You kind of want to be on a be on defense mode with your live capital. Just from my experience, I've been doing this for almost 4 years. So yeah, we're up 3K and want to get it to maybe 6 to 8K. You know, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, just get it to 10K and just keep repeating it, but it's easier said than done. I'm gonna be real. But as you can see, like these small wins, 300, like they add up. Um, Majority this whole month, especially with this 100K account, I've been risking 150 per trade, and you have to understand the kind of trader you are. If you're a trader that, you know, you take one trade a day on average, you can risk a little more. On this size account, you can risk 300, 400, whatever, maybe a little more. But me, as I know the type of trader I am, on average, I take, minimum two trades a day. Sometimes it's one, but two trades minimum. So I cut my risk in half. So my daily loss for me personally is 3 to 400 that I want to try to get to now, and I risk $150 per trade. And risking $150 per trade, you know, you can see where I'm at kind of weekly, averaging, 1500, 1500. Um, but it just depends. If you have a really good setup, a plus setup, you can risk, throw on a little more if you're truly confident. Now with the 50Ks, my advice, like nobody has to follow my advice, but this is my opinion. I would be risking like $100 per trade once, and this is once you're funded. Now, once you're trying to pass, you know, I will go aggressive, bro. It's not even doesn't make sense to, take 30 days. Otherwise, you're gonna have to make that subscription payment. Um, but once you're past, I honestly would just $100 per day on a 50K. Just take it slow because those big days is just gonna eat you up. You know. But I think that's it for this, y'all. I hope that helped with the flow state analogy. It kind of just opened my eyes and um, what was holding my profits back a little bit with those big losses. Um, so yeah, um, hope y'all enjoyed. Comment below if you guys want to see anything else from me. And yeah, I don't really be too much on social media, but I do think as my trading level and experience progresses, I will be more on social media and uploading more. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and yeah.